We could put that in.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Gordox Pub. We were late, but welcome to the Gordox Pub.
Seconds late. We're still on time. Didn't
Okay.
change.
Where the drinks are as free as the speech. How patriotic is that?
Ah, yeah, it's the patriotic pub.
Ah,
So I got some background done. I figured I would put some like vertical, not necessarily truly vertical, but some lines to show maybe there's light
tunnel.
source up above.
Okay. Well, hello, Digital Tantrum.
Hey, he's here on time too.
Like, we almost weren't.
Well, we were here. We were just not live.
Yeah, I know. We just weren't paying attention. We were doing all the good talking, before the camera's going. So that, because that's what makes good YouTube or Twitch. Ugh. Oh my god! So that YouTube channel that I started for my class, I had a couple weeks ago. I had like 52 subscribers. I know, huge numbers.
Hey,
Gonna
that's
retire.
that's a third of what we have.
Well, people are like, "Oh, you're really blowing up." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm retiring next week." Okay, sure, but I got up to 52, and then in one day, I lost 6. I was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah,
And then it stayed that way for quite a while. Then I got 47. That stayed where, then 48. And then yesterday, when I went to bed around midnight, I had 54 subscribers. And I wake up this morning, and I lost 6 of them again. And I'm like, well,
I kind of wonder how accurate the count is because the last time I streamed, somebody joined, but it didn't put the number up.
yeah, I
I
don't
don't know.
know. And the only thing I could figure out was that my some of my students have subscribed, and actually because I'm kind of using it with class, it makes it easier to find the stuff if they subscribe. The actual reason why you subscribe, and
To get
so they
updates.
they I think because all of they do it at school and it's all the same IP address. I think YouTube thinks it's bots. That's my guess. But
Uh, well, I know that YouTube takes away subscriptions when they want to as well. I don't know why because if we have more subscriptions, they have more advertisers, and if they have more advertisers, they have more money.
I don't know.
Any time that a content provider makes money, they are definitely making money.
I know. Well, that's just one of those things where I mean, I'm not really trying to grow a channel. I mean, I'm not. I put the stuff up there on because it's a resource for students, and it's my take on Schoolhouse Rocks, but for an older, more modern audience, and because that's the stuff I'm teaching for the most part. Like I've done a few things. I did one over PEMDAS and GEMDAS for math students, but it's nothing. It's not like I think like that's my future. I just felt like if you get enough, if it ever got monetized, it would help pay for the stuff that I'm actually buying for my students. You would,
That's what I thought too a long time ago.
oh, I know, but I was like, if you do a little bit every year, and if you get some kids and some parents every year to subscribe, it would grow slowly, but it would eventually, hopefully, pan out where YouTube is paying for my classroom supplies. And if not, I still made educational content that I can use. So, and I'm learning stuff, and I guess I'm kind of having fun with that.
Well, that's like when I started this, I was hoping that I'd make enough to pay for the channel,
Yeah.
It didn't necessarily have to be a whole lot. Just it would have been nice if it covered what I'm spending.
Right. If you could pay for StreamYard.
Yeah,
at least.
And the whole purpose of it was to, help instruct and give some confidence to people that were trying to do this, but kind of were afraid of failing. So I'm like, I'll fail publicly on that so that people can see. Like my gift is, to try to, in some way, help someone else be not afraid. I'm no Jim Lee, and I can't contribute what Jim Lee could. But
I can't see. That's my opinion is, and maybe I just have. I mean, I've seen your artwork. I've seen quite a bit of it. I've seen Jim Lee's stuff. They're not infallible gods of artistry,
no, that's not what I meant. But he's got a lot of experience, and
okay, but you have experience.
Yeah, but not the same kind of experience.
Okay.
I'm not denigrating myself. I'm just saying, I don't come into this as an experienced comic book artist. I mean, I've studied a lot of the comic book information. I've studied the styles of the greats that I consider the greats. I've studied why certain details are done the way they're done.
Yeah.
And this guy is actually backwards. He should be facing that way, but
it kind of frames the picture. It almost makes it into a playing card.
Well, I kind of felt like it made this all interactive.
Right.
But by the rules of comic books, or the loose guidelines of comic books, however you want to choose it, he should be facing the other way so that you're facing towards the next page. But I do have his hand going that way a little bit, so I might have to adjust that.
But that's page 10, right?
Up there. Was that? Yeah.
That's page 10.
Yes.
Well, so unless they're trying to destroy the book, they're going to see page 11 anyway.
Well, right, but
and so I understand the rule, but you have a reason for breaking said rule.
Right. There's a reason for said rule. And that's what I'm trying to pass, is that I understand the reason for said rule is it's a progression thing. So if I contain this page in towards the center, you might stare at this a little longer, which will control the pacing. It will slow the pacing down a little bit. And that's fine if I want them to stare at my picture and go, oh, that's a really cool picture. But if I want to progress the story, everything should be aimed towards the next part or going to the next piece. I'm not super freaked out about it or whatever. The tail comes this way, so it's going that direction. It curls back this way. These things curve to the next page,
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot that leads to the next page, and this is page 10, so it will be on the left hand side. So you're
Right.
already going to see the next page on the right hand side.
Right. You,
But yeah, the mechanics of it are there for a reason, and that I guess that's what I wanted to state is that not only are they there for a reason, I know what the reason is.
right.
So I'm messing with the perspective. And by messing with the perspective, I mean I'm just making some shit up. Because when I drew this piece, I didn't decide until after I drew that piece that that was going to be the center of the next page, right?
Right.
I wasn't really sure where we were going because we're kind of working some stuff out. But now, like, and when I did the floor stuff, it actually led to this corner of the cheekbone. But that doesn't work for all this stuff that actually goes back behind his cheekbone, right? So
Okay.
I'm readjusting it to his belly button. just for this part because it's not necessarily going to be even anyway. It just needs to look like it leads to the same place. Because the ceiling, I haven't done the ceiling of this part at all. I've done like one wall. And these two panels actually have supports that I didn't show before, but there was really not room or necessity. I don't know if it's necessary now, but I feel kind of like it should have something there.
Did you watch the Moon Knight series on Disney?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, good because that means you don't have to be traumatized. But
Oh, don't even.
already happened. But
Well, I mean, don't even go.
there were some scenes where they're in a shrink's office, and it's Ethan Hawke as the psychologist. It's his office, and it's a very modern build. Like it's a modern decor thing, but it's like built into crumbling bricks and stuff, and it's an aesthetic that I thought would be appropriate for possible inspiration for other parts of this world because you have the obvious history that's old having to work sometimes with more modern like glass and stuff, and it was just I liked like I was like that's one of the things I appreciated of that show, I guess, was some of the backgrounds actually.
I don't know if I paid too much attention to the backgrounds, to be honest with you,
Well,
because I was trying to watch a Moon Knight show and they were putting on something else and calling it Moon Knight. Oh, I fucking hate that. Moon Knight has technically 4 personalities, but 3 that we see quite often in the comic book. And it's a missed opportunity, so they have this bumbling idiot and this hero. But it makes it look like the hero is like just because Khonshu chose him or whatever. But it leaves out all the core parts of the story. Like, he was a mercenary. He was like Batman, but a mercenary. That's the way he earned his millions. And he has his bad guy, Bushman. is built into the story because he basically Bushman kills him and leaves him for dead when they discover Khonshu's tomb. But he already had a personality. He had fucking a little bit of PTSD, but he had a mercenary personality that was rough and gruff. He didn't need Khonshu to be that. And then he had the Jake the cab driver personality, which doesn't exist. Neither one of them really exist. He doesn't have a bumbling idiot personality. Until you get to Disney.
I was thinking about that the other day because I was thinking about like the original MacGyver, and you know he's a competent guy, and I don't think they would do that anymore.
Well,
Like,
they
why is-
redid MacGyver. It just sucked.
Hotel 1891. Hotel 801 901. Yeah, no. No. Which one? Where did we go to?
So Joe started a different job, so
Oh yeah.
he's working mornings.
Oh.
So he might have a day off to join us. Chad is supposed to join us tonight at some point. I gave him the link, but you know how he is.
Well, you know, yeah, people have life.
Well, yeah.
I can't say anything. I mean,
He
last
said
time.
he said he was gonna. He said he wanted to be wanted the link today and Saturday. So I'm like, Saturday is going to be an interesting day.
Oh, because we have that class.
Yeah, and a stream.
Well, that'll be fun. A lot of time in the chair.
I was going to say it'll be full anyway, right?
Maybe we should have a shorter stream where we no,
Well-
we can debrief after the class. Like after we think about it, we could debrief.
Well, what I'm thinking of is like we don't have plans that I know of for page 11 yet. Study.
Oh,
we
I
talked
put them on.
about we talked about it and we didn't really come up with anything. So I figured we were going to go towards the vehicles on the next page.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to put something like that in because I had. Yeah, that was the part I was having trouble with, and I just was like, because you had sketched something before, and
Yeah,
that
the
was
kind of layout sketch that I wasn't really digging.
right, and so anyway, I was just kind of like, well, I don't know, and we can always add a panel or whatever in. So I was like, well, I'll just put them on whatever we decide on. I'll just say mount. And that's up to you, what you feel like drawing, I suppose.
It's funny, I think, how what I'm watching kind of influences what I'm thinking about for images or imagery. Because, like, for a long time, I've been kind of trying to do, I don't know if you'd call them studies, but really pay attention to how we're getting some dramatic effects from the way the stuff we watch is filmed.
Okay.
And of course, I've been watching Andor for the last 13 episodes, 12 episodes. So, so I didn't realize, I don't know why I didn't realize it, that Andor is a main part of Rogue One.
You mean like as in you didn't realize it was kind of a prequel?
Well, Andor the show,
Yeah.
yeah, is a prequel to because he's
Right.
Captain Andor in Rogue One.
Well, yeah, he dies in Rogue One. That's the one
Oh,
thing. The biggest problem, I guess, for the series. Well, that guy's gonna survive. I guarantee he survives. I
at
guarantee.
least until the next movie. There is a season 2 planned to come out on Joe's birthday.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm kind of mixed emotions on it because I don't think they gave me a reason to root for Andor. Like the worst or the best is revenge for his mom, which isn't really his mom. Originally, I thought he was looking for his sister, and that went kind of by the wayside.
Oh yeah, what did you think about the speech though?
I don't know what the speech is.
Where the guy asks him what that he wants the one informer wants to quit, and they meet like down in the depths of whatever Coruscant and stuff, and
Oh, the implant, the
yeah,
security implant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was great.
I didn't think it was. I mean, I didn't think it was super anything.
Oh, that was great. Great.
I've heard speeches like that before, so I guess maybe that's part of my.
Well, just that I have to use the tools of my enemy, and that he knows he'll never be redeemed, and I'm like, that is a Sith Lord. That is such a Sith Lord thing, and just that concept of you're just as ambitious and I mean, it's not in there. They don't say he's a Sith Lord ever. In fact, there's some evidence that you could argue proves that he's not. Although there's other evidence that kind of suggests that he is. But just this idea that you're an also-ran. I don't know. The also-rans always I find interesting. The people that weren't quite successful and having to seethe when they see other people who were successful. So they're fighting. You could have a bad guy fighting a bad guy simply because they're equally greedy and mean.
Well, that was another thing I was noticing about that show is that there are really no redeemable characters. Like there's nobody that's really good. Every single one of them are bad in their way. Even Mothra. What the fuck is her name?
Mon Mothma.
She's probably the closest to an out-and-out good guy, but even there's even stuff there too. So,
well, his escape from that Imperial ship when they have him in the tractor beam, and he lets loose the debris, which destroys their tractor beam.
countermeasures, yeah.
I thought that was great.
Well, that was somebody thinking that there already exists something like that in the Navy. So why wouldn't it exist in the future?
Right. But, and the only thing about that scene that I was kind of like, that's a little, I don't know, weird. When it has like the light, they're not lightsabers, but they look a lot like lightsabers coming off of a ship, which, by the way.
Lasers.
Yeah, but they're steady beams, so they kind of look like.
Yep.
And
yeah, but they're beams. The lightsaber has a stopping point, which really it shouldn't.
Right.
So they're just a laser blast, but they should have cut everything.
Yeah. But I
Planet,
mean,
people on the planet, fucking
yeah.
wildlife running around on the ground.
Just randomly. Oh
Yep,
God, what happened?
everything should have been victim of that.
But yeah, so that was. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't like that. I really thought the mechanical device was cooler than the more flashy thing. But
Yeah, the mechanical device. Those measures exist in submarines already, where somebody sends a torpedo at you.
right,
You can launch.
have them with
I think
airplanes.
I was
And
gonna say, I think they have them for jets too.
yeah, it's flares, so that it'll hit that
Well,
instead of you.
yeah, some of them are flares, but some of them they're heat sources. But yeah,
Right.
some of them are propelled. So
But yeah, to me it was just good thinking, and I liked it. And I don't know. I mean,
yes,
there was it's not a perfect show. There were some aspects where I was like, okay, like when they almost said the F word, which that would have made me mad. I don't know why. Like other shows can use the F word, I have no problem with it, but Star Wars can't. Like there are other. I felt the same way about Star Trek too, especially because in canon it says so. But whatever. I feel like those should be safe from cursing because Star Wars has their own curses, and Star Trek they said that had been basically educated out of the populace.
what?
In Star Trek, whichever one they go back in time to San Francisco for the whales, whichever one that one is,
Yeah, I don't care.
and somebody curses in that film, and Spock doesn't understand, and Kirk tells him, he's like, "Oh yeah, we used to be like this, but we've outgrown it as a society." And then you watch later Star Trek TV shows like Picard, they dropped an F bomb, and it's just like, what the? That's A, against canon, and B, you're making it something that I don't necessarily want to watch. I mean, my kids are old enough now, but if they had been younger, I would have been like, yeah, we're not watching that with the kids. And why would you do that? Why would you just close that kind of thing off? I just find it dumb. I guess it's against a brand for me, and that bothers me. I was not up for that kind of rebranding.
I could care less about Star Trek, really.
Well, it's just one of those things. I mean, you grew up watching the movies and the TV show and Next Generation, and
I
I kind of
watched a
fell out of
couple.
favor with it, but
I watched a couple of the movies, couple of the shows. It never was something I watched steady. I just didn't care. Like, so after a while it became like a panel of politicians. Like you're just watching a bunch of politicians, and we know solid politicians really don't resolve shit. That's not their job. Their job is to make sure that they don't resolve shit. So I don't know. That's kind of what it felt like to me. The more Star Trek developed, the more it felt like it was propaganda. This is what it's going to be like in the future, and it's going to be like this in the future because this is how we need to live. This is how we need to, you know. And I don't think anything like that would ever really truly exist. But you know, I I'm fine with somebody else liking it. I'm not into it enough to really care.
Well, just the general concept of they had a brand that was, I mean, it was kid safe and without having to be for kids. And so, I mean, I don't. If that's your brand, that's your brand. If you change it like that, that's a pretty severe change. And Star Trek or not, it's the brand ultimately that is the problem. So, but it's their IP. They can do whatever they want. I just
Well, it's the same with Star Wars. People shooting people in the back, and people, that's what Captain Andor did in his first scene, shoot somebody in the back.
yep.
So
But again, Han Solo shot first.
yeah, but Han Solo had a reason for shooting.
I agree. Well, Andor has a reason for shooting that guy.
Yeah, because he got that guy in trouble, and he
Pretty
didn't want to
much.
get busted.
Well, okay.
That's not the same as you're trying to save your own life.
Well, I think he was trying to save his own life. I
Nah.
think it was a matter of, oh, this. If I'm with this guy, I'm getting taken down. So, and I can't let this guy get taken. So, I'm gonna.
Well, he could have climbed out of there and left that dude. What's he gonna do? Say, oh, that guy went that way. By the time they catch up with him, he'd be gone anyway. So,
Well, he paid for it with his life.
the whole point of that was to show how ruthless Andor was. And that's the same way, actually, the show opens up with him. Like, he goes looking for his sister, and instead of, doing something else, he chooses to murder somebody in cold blood. Yeah, dude was an asshole, but it's still murder. Like, that was the problem that I had with Andor when I was watching it, is more and more I'm seeing, well, actually, there was another person besides Mom Mothma that was a good guy, and that was his mom. That I don't think she did anything like that. She just incited a riot at the end, but that's how to stir up a rebellion. So that wasn't. I didn't consider that the same. Anyway, like that's what I was watching it, and I'm like, so I do have these problems with it that really the people that are good actually either end up getting hurt or die really quickly, or they turn their friends in, which to me is not good anymore. But it still was addictive enough for me to watch it till the end. I fucking hated the prison section.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was a poor excuse to fucking delay the actual end of the show. There was no reason for him to get busted except for to not let him go through with what he's going through. Like, I don't think he learned any life lessons out of that he already didn't know.
Well, that's because they were showing how much the Empire was basically just collecting slave labor for the construction of the Death Star.
Yeah, he didn't know that though.
Well, I get that, but
well, I mean, for his story, it doesn't matter. It could have been anything. Could have been anybody in that telling that part of the story for us to get it. But it was him. He was like.
So it's a giant member berry, in a way.
Yeah, it just, to me, it was really. I didn't know it was if it wasn't a memory sequence when it first started, because the way they were popping back and forth into him being a kid.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's walking out of a hotel and getting busted. by KSO, whatever the hell his name is, too. Did you notice that?
What?
The Imperial bot that hung him, that was holding him up,
Yeah.
is the same one that's in Rogue One. That's Alan Tudyk.
Well, I mean, I don't. Is it the same one or the same model?
Yep, it's the same one. It says on the credits.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Like, if I think watching Rogue One right after it actually puts it in better perspective, but I don't know. I didn't like the way it ended. I liked the last episode, except for the very end of the last episode.
Okay.
Like the way that he chose to conclude it.
Oh.
I think that was the actual point of him going in prison and then coming out, is that he was supposed to have learned how all these people are mistreated and the empire was throwing people away, and then he come out to his mom died while he was in prison. So I think that has a lot to do, or was supposed to have a lot to do with why he was in prison. I like Andy Serkis, but I just feel like that was, they could have better utilized. I don't know. I keep hoping there's going to be something further that I missed, or maybe something in season 2 that pulls it together. But I think he only started, I don't know, he only started feeling like he was trying to be something at the end. And then it was like he really just wanted to die. And didn't think that was a great conclusion, but I guess my rough thing is it's kind of like the Batman. I liked it despite the problems that I have with it.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of those problems are like insurmountable, because like I said, when I watch, so I figured I'd watch Rogue One after that because I didn't have anything else to watch and I needed something to watch while I was working out tonight. And so I threw on Rogue One, and I saw just how relevant all the characters are in context of Rogue One.
Okay.
I almost wish that we could have seen more of Donnie Yen's character prior to Rogue One, or in a separate series, because he brings another different aspect to it. I think what they did was kind of dirty Star Wars up with what they were doing with Andor, making it acceptable for them to do bad things to be good. But in the original, the worst guy really that was a good guy was Han Solo. So it kind of goes against the branding as well. All right, so I guess we're gonna have to look at the next page, because I'm pretty much where I'm going to be.
Well, except for
plans.
I don't have a panel of him reaching. We're going to. Hold on. So,
what?
We, on the script, we kind of are missing what's basically. Yeah. I don't know if you need to make what was most of page 10 kind of into page 11, whatever's on page 11, We pushed to page 12 because he's got to have. He has to leave the city, and he needs something to leave the city on, and we have to show him having that, and we haven't shown him doing that yet. And
yeah.
Well, okay.
I didn't say that couldn't be part of the next page. Just I felt like there needed to be something in between him fighting this thing and him getting instructed on where to find whatever. He could be asking, where's the local transportation, or what do we have for transportation, or whatever. Because there's plenty of room to put small dialogue panels in. And he hasn't had a conversation with his suit yet, which is actually his body. But I kind of been thinking that's going to be fun, a fun part of the character,
Okay. Yeah.
You don't think that's going to be fun to be able to write this presence that's with him all the time?
I don't know.
Come on, Eddie. Come on. Hey, come on, Eddie. Come on. Oh. Oh, I'm out. Oh. Yep, that kind of caught it right there. That back. Right there, that back. Yeah. Yeah, that. Yeah. One time, Eddie. Để có không bảo nào ấy sao sai ấy nó sang khó You send me Emma. You send me Emma. You can send me more Emma. You did. I got. No này. Children này, coi mà. Children coi mà. You too. Yep, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Oh, goodness. It would help if I could remember names.
No, what's that name? What's that name?
You can remember names?
Yeah.
Lamont?
Yep, that was the one I was trying to remember.
Because that's the only other name, really.
I know.
He's a placeholder, and the other guy is a placeholder, so that's Lamont. And this is our main squeeze.
No, come on.
That is weird. Oh. God, that's annoying. I'm about to kill my auto formatting stuff. It's annoying the crap out of me. Okay. So I'm fixing some basic formatting stuff, like changing the number of panels. But you have access to the doc. And now it actually looks like I might have actually been planning it that way. So the I need to put a space. But anyway, I kind of have an abbreviated version, but we still have to draw whatever he's going to be on. And
yeah, so the longest part of that really is deciding what I'm going to feel comfortable drawing over and over and over. So that's probably what I'm going to work on, because that's the next logical step.
right.
So I am going to put this away, pull out some well, maybe I'm going to put it away.
Okay.
It doesn't want to leave. It doesn't like its home. I'm assuming you're not ready to ink it yet.
No. I'm pretty positive that I would not make a good inker.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't think I would. I think mine would end up looking very flat and maybe not. I don't know, but I have that feeling that's what I would do. And
I think if you're an artist, and we know that you can do portraits, that you, if you're
but I do
an
ink.
inker, yes, but an inker is an embellisher. So basically, you're taking what I give you and then expanding upon it.
Yeah. Or I'm detracting from it, and
Oh, well, why would you detract from it? Just expand.
because I would be following the steps of 𝕄𝔸𝕊𝔋𝕀𝔽𝔽, and he said he made his first comic book look worse.
Well, why would you do that?
Because it would be my first comic book.
Well, this is my first comic book. What's the excuse now?
Well, yeah, but you're the artist.
Mike Mignola didn't do it on screen.
He wasn't writing either. So
Yes, he was.
at the time of his first one,
Oh, his first comic, but he was writing while he was drawing.
well, that was later when he decided he didn't want to do anyone else's stuff. Okay, so I have a question for you. Speaking of me and my oh so great and wonderful artistic talents, because I know I would be rusty as hell. But is it insulting if I were if I drew something like a sketch for inspiration? Like if I said this is kind of what I was thinking, sort of.
Why would that be insulting?
I don't know, because it's kind of like telling a tattoo artist, I don't want you to draw your stuff. I want you to draw my stuff. And I don't. That's not really
pretty much how tattoo artists do their thing.
Well, okay, but
Yeah.
I
We
would not
don't
want to.
we don't generally get the ability to just do what we want. I do, but I'm the exception to the rule. Like most tattoo artists, 99% of tattoo artists that work in a tattoo shop, they're there to do what the customer wants and not what they want. So
Yeah, but I'm not your customer. I'm your writer.
no, you were equating yourself to the tattoo artist, not the writer. That's not a writer in that situation. You were equating yourself to a tattoo artist, or I don't know. No, tattoo customer is what you were equating yourself to.
Right, but I'm not.
But you're not a tattoo customer. It's our project.
Right. So
So
I didn't know if
you
that would be.
can you can show me whatever you want. I'm not necessarily going to take it, but
Okay.
I might take inspiration from it, or I might get an idea from it.
Okay. That's
But
what I wanted to know.
I'm I'm not wholly for or against anything really.
Well,
Not yet.
I am positive the amount of effort and time I'm willing to put into a sketch is not enough to be a finished product anyway. So, um,
Well, sketch is not supposed to be a finished product.
I know, but I'm just. It would again. It's for inspiration. If I can't figure out a good way of expressing it, I may end up sketching it, which really just shows you apparently for speed. Sometimes it's like, well, let me just kind of sketch out what I was thinking. Sometimes I sketch for my. I mean, I've done that for years. Part of the if I get stuck writing something, I'll sketch images from it that I was thinking, so that sometimes that gives me a something to start off from.
I've never done that, say more than maybe a frontispiece or something like that, where it was just a one shot picture that I was gonna use for um, like a freeze frame of a scene or something like that. So I'm trying to think what are we gonna do for um, terrain,
What outside the city?
weather.
I
We're
put
gonna have
it.
different weather.
Well, yeah, they are, but for where they're going, it's I would say more like it would be kind of like if they're either well, I said a rainforest, but it doesn't have to be, but um, kind of Appalachian, even though they don't know what it means. Like they don't recognize the term Appalachian, but
Well, I'm
uh,
talking to you talking to me about what I'm gonna draw, so it's
right.
not.
So I'm just saying. So not necessarily huge mountains, but it's not all flat and heavily wooded, and you can make it as lush as you want. That's kind of built into the lore at this point. The outside the cities is thriving.
I might have to reboot. Oh, mother.
What did you do?
Ah, I plugged my plug in, but unplugged part of the plug. So the adapter, you've got a piece from the computer to the
Yeah.
uh, governor box, and then from the governor box to the plug.
Yeah.
Apparently, he didn't plug the governor box to the plug in. I didn't know it was unplugged until it just alerted me.
Hmm.
Hey, look, Blue Waffle Fire is here.
What? I saw a post-war amplifier.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Our clientele is not cheap. We have only the finest viewers. Not cheap viewers. Silly bot.
All right. So I'm trying to think what would be good in that terrain. A creature that I can create that fits that kind of terrain. So mountainous terrain, woodland terrain.
I like tree frogs.
Yeah, that's not in that terrain really. Those are more like tropical. But I wouldn't ride a tree frog anyway. I'm thinking that much more likely you're going to find something bear related.
Dude, you don't want something bear related with Mastiff? I mean, think about it. Well, Mastiff is already a large. Well, I mean, I realize he's not tall, but I mean, he's a big. He is a bulky presence.
Yeah.
A bulky human, but still large mammalian presence, and you're going to give him a large mammalian mount?
Well, yeah. You gonna think he's gonna ride a fucking frog?
Well, it would be a giant frog, and yeah, that would be freaking cool.
Yeah, not really. I can't imagine a frog lasting under his weight. It would have to be something that could bear him.
Nope.
Nope.
That was a terrible joke.
Nope. It was not, because it wasn't a joke.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about just bear, but bears more common in the woods and mountains. So this is not going to be any one particular thing, but it's got to be big enough for him to ride. It's got to be something that can live in the climate that he's going into. And something tough enough to fight whatever's out there. Or at least have a fighting chance of getting away. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. It's kind of idea form. I can't even. You got the weirdest ideas for creatures. A giant star mole with tentacles. Now a giant tree frog mount.
Yeah, so that's fun. Plus, think of the ways you can color it, and then it can be nice and slick. Or you can make him a giant toad, whatever. I don't care, but there's some nice texture there. There's nice contrast between him and his mount. We're not looking at the mount as the muscle, or he's still the muscle. So yeah, I thought that made sense. Plus, it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, it's not his mount. I mean, it's not his. He's going to use it, but it's not his. Hey, it's the tattooed spaceman.
I guess he's something different every time.
He's getting there. And there he is.
There.
And whoever's behind him.
Not too much. Been one of them days.
Yeah? Oh.
When you say them,
I think every day in February is one of those days. Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were just looking like, you were playing with the earbuds and
Oh,
looking
he's still getting
concerned.
set up, probably.
Well, yeah, you know, it's not like we haven't had problems with audio before.
Right.
And I've been worried about mine.
No,
You speak as if it's past tense.
I'm trying. I'm on my iPad, and I just got a new set of earbuds the other day. They're the AirPod Pro 2s. There, the new
Yeah.
ones. They have a hearing aid function, and I've been wearing them lately. And for some reason, when I'm on my tablet watching a video or whatever, I still get like I can hear people talking around me, but the sound goes through my earbuds. And for a second there, it wasn't. But,
Huh.
you know, I just took a minute.
That is. I thought when I saw those ads for those earbuds, I thought that was pretty cool. That it's like somebody was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than spending $180 than it is over 1,000 for a pair of hearing aids.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I know what it is.
what is it?
It's a motherfucking Bigfoot, Gus.
Bigfoot.
Uh,
Yeah, your wife is a Bigfoot, isn't she, Gus? I actually just watched that the other night. Eddie Murphy Raw.
oh yeah.
Yeah, been a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time. Is that the one where he's in red or in purple?
Red.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was Delirious. He was in a black and purple one for Raw, right?
Oh, I don't.
I think it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure that Raw he was in red. Kind of looked like the old Michael Jackson. Uh,
Yeah, I thought that was
It was,
Delirious.
yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to look.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Because my brain is like, no, that's Delirious.
God.
but grab a beverage. Be right back.
You do that. Oh, that's way easier. If I get a beverage, I gotta go clear downstairs.
Yepper, he's wearing the red jacket.
Yeah.
What?
Delirious, he's wearing the red jacket.
Okay.
So Raw is the black and purple one.
All right.
Either way.
Just like I don't know why the conversation mattered, but my brain was like, hey, I know this.
I just knew like one he's in red and one he's in purple.
Yep. And actually the one that's in purple is mostly black, I thought. I don't know.
Yeah. It's mostly black, and I think it's like the sleeves and part of the chest are purple.
It's been a while.
Right?
That's
Well-
kind of like V-shaped or something.
When Delirious came out, it was 1983,
God, something like that.
and Raw was in 87.
Wow. That's just
That
Yeah,
makes
right?
sense.
How's that make you feel?
nice and old. Although
Oh, I know, right?
right
I was a
before right before I got on here, I had a phone call with a former student. And it's from Las Vegas. And I haven't taught there in almost 20 years. And she was talking, and she's working in Illinois now. And realized she's only 10 years younger than me. So I was like, so then I felt really kind of young. I was like, oh, hey.
Was that the one you were watching, Chad? With this suit?
No, it was Raw, but on stage it was red.
This is Delirious.
I just, I question what that would be like after the show. Under all those lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was purple with black trim actually
Oh, was it?
for Raw. Hey, like memory. We got the colors right. Brett had
Yeah. Yeah.
color, main color, right? I'm gonna share.
Yeah. Yeah. And a few of the jokes that he told in both Raw and Delirious were the same jokes too.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was. It was mostly purple with black. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's an outfit. Someone had to go, yeah, this is going to look good. This is
In
Yeah.
those days, you could only be black and wear that kind of shit.
Fair
If you were-
enough. Very
if you
true.
were white and
Unless you were
and wore
Elton.
that kind
Yeah.
of shit,
Yeah,
Yeah,
unless you were
right.
Elton John or
Yeah, or of that
what the-
persuasion.
yeah. Or what the hell was his name? Liberace.
Yeah. You notice what they have in common?
they played the
Their
piano.
persuasion. Their persuasion.
Yeah, tell me you're that persuasion without telling me you're that persuasion.
Right.
I can think of a lot of terrible responses to that. Just absolutely terrible and wrong. It's like the other day I was in class and this kid said something. And I just sat there and I kind of froze because I was just going through all these things in my head. Can't say that, can't say that, can't say that. Because what the kid said was just stupid. And I mean, it happens. I mean,
You wanted to tell him very bad, huh?
yeah, it just really.
You're stupid.
No, it's just.
But I can't tell you that, so I'm
Yeah.
going to show you that. You're fucking.
Now,
Probably can't say something like, "Oh, bless your heart."
oh no, I can say something like that, and that's what I tend to. That's what I tend to fall back on. But it was just. It's just one of those things. It's like, did you listen to the words that came out of your mouth before you let them loose?
Probably not.
No, because that was wow, and and everybody does it eventually. It's just I was just in the presence of it happening there. That's all. So I know I've said stupid things. So sometimes you just aren't thinking. Or you're so locked in on something that you can't see the big obvious thing because you're focused on something.
Yeah.
I always like that. I do like the Bigfoot though. No, I'm not joking. I like the Bigfoot. I don't know why. I like it. I dig the Bigfoot. It's kind of like the flared gene of animals.
Well, I'm kind of trying to make a cross between a bear and a frog.
So a sloth, like one of the old,
Except for not slow.
Well,
Megatherium.
Yeah, I don't think they were necessarily. They're not tree sloths. They
They were ground sloth.
Yeah, they were big.
They were too big to be living in trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like using a tree as a leaning post.
Yeah. That'd be. But again, you can do any kind of mutation you want. Really, I always one of the nice things.
True.
So, I tend to think about, just trying to come up with something that isn't necessarily, a horse or whatever that thing is that 𝕄𝔸𝕊𝕋𝕀𝔽𝔽 road. So,
yeah, that's still a horse. Just a warped one.
Okay.
But no, I was thinking of things that you would find in the woods, in the mountains. So those kinds of things are bears, mountain lions, badgers, depending on where you are, wolverines,
Mhm.
moose,
Yep.
That
moose, deer.
Yep.
So elk, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, bear cats or wolverines and rams,
Yeah. Sheep.
animals,
Yeah.
animals
Rat.
that animals that cling to the sides of cliffs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
so did you?
Defying the laws of gravity.
Yeah. Did either of you guys see Craven the Hunter?
Nope.
Mm. Yeah, I have.
I've only
I only
seen
seen it
clips.
once, but I have seen it.
I've only seen clips, and I'm not. I'm kind of on the fence if I really want to see it. But
I'll wait till it's free.
well, I'm pretty sure I already have access to it being free.
Mm.
But
It was okay. I
that's
thought
what
it
I
was
have
all
a
right.
feeling it's gonna. That's kind of what I was guessing. But the Rhino is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and from what I've
Mm.
seen, I'm like, that is so not the Rhino. That's a guy that looks like a Rhino man, but it's not the Rhino.
Mm.
It's just not him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the Rhino's that guy comes off as like an intelligent strategist, and I'm like, that's not the Rhino. It's just not. He's the muscle, and all right, whatever. But I just so yeah, I just feel like that was kind of a letdown. But
Uh,
and it's not like the character was terrible. It's just not the Rhino.
uh, I was rather disappointed in Deadpool 2 with Juggernaut.
Really,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really.
it was better than
Um.
the X-Men version.
I'll give you that. But yeah, I'll give you that. But I was still kind of disappointed. I didn't. I mean, I thought the actor fit him well. I just didn't think that they. I didn't think they used the character to the full potential for the movie.
Oh no,
To be
I don't.
honest with you,
They did
and
not.
unfortunately, there hasn't been a revisit, and we've already had another Deadpool movie. So I'm kind of
I
like, all right, where, are they going to bring him back at some point? Because I mean, yeah, they electrocuted him in the fucking pool thingy there, but uh,
that's
you know that doesn't really mean anything.
no. That would. I think it'd be a more interesting if they're gonna have to bring in the X-Men and reboot that whole thing.
Mm,
That'd be kind of an interesting villain for like one of the earlier films. I think a relatively simplistic villain, but you're not focusing so much on the villain as you are on the X-Men because you want to kind of do that in the first.
yeah.
Right? Well, then once those are established, you can have a more interesting villain. But
True.
I think I saw something. I don't know if it was just fan casting or not, but I thought it was pretty good fan casting. Um, Javier Bardem as Mr. Sinister.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I think that was like a fan casting thing.
But I thought, yeah, that ain't bad. I like that.
mm,
I also think that they should have had Mr. Sinister. Like, Apocalypse should have been developed way more like Thanos was developed in
Mm,
with the Avengers. And
mm,
you could do that with Apocalypse, especially if you bring into play Mr. Sinister. And, it doesn't always have to be Magneto. So
mm.
it
True.
doesn't have to always be Magneto. It doesn't always have to be Dark Phoenix. There were other good storylines. And
well,
I
Yeah.
Magneto's in a lot of the stories, though, in the X-Men. So
Yeah, but
it's not like out of character, or uh, out of canon for
oh,
them
I
to
know.
use for them to use a lot of Magneto.
I'm just saying it. The Mister Sinister plot line from the book with Madeline Pryor and that whole thing doesn't really have Magneto in it, and it's works just fine. I think you'd obviously have to tweak that because you had the whole Jean Grey dying, Madeline Pryor being cloned thing. That's not something you can just spring on people. Kind of have to
Mm.
figure out that little quirk. But
Well, you could spring it on people. You just have to have a good reason for it later on.
I guess,
Mm.
Well, I mean, they could. Like
yeah,
you could be thinking something else, and then all of a sudden, wow, look at this.
I'm just saying to say that this is the clone of Jean Grey who died years ago.
Yeah, you'd have to have Grey die before a clone.
Yeah, kind of
Unless you were like, and this whole time you thought it was Jean Grey. You know,
right.
they never had a good Jean Grey either.
No, not really.
Famke Janssen is not Jean Grey.
I agree.
There,
Mm.
she's
Yeah.
fine. She would have been fine as other things, other people. But Jean Grey, and yeah, they should have had somebody special for her because she's one of the ones that have been around the whole time.
Yep.
So she should be a character. She should be an actress that could hold her own. It's like what's her face doing Black Widow. They've had just that one Black Widow, and it's kind of paid off because she's pretty much what you think of as Black Widow. It's kind of like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
That is oddly one thing with. I don't know if anything's actually happened other than the last Deadpool movie, but I've yet to see Henry Cavill look like a good Wolverine,
Yeah,
Oh,
I would
no.
agree.
and I just
I'm
I
hearing
like
talk
Henry
about
Cavill.
him. Hearing talk about him playing James Bond.
Yeah, I've heard something about that.
That's an interesting.
He's been wanting to for like he almost had it last time, and they thought he
Yeah.
was too. So, or I would have to kind of I would be interested. I suppose I could look it up now, but we're in the middle of streaming. But the timing of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. in relationship to Daniel Craig becoming James Bond, because I always felt like the Man from U.N.C.L.E. was like a test run for a James Bond thing, because it's kind of the same sort of the same character.
Chad, what are you working on?
Nothing at the moment. My I'm running off my tablet camera. So uh, I just finished a. You probably heard me talking about SCPs before. It was like this writers forum that they ended up kind of turning into like a basically like a forum for um, different like mysterious creatures and anomalous things and stuff like that.
like
Yeah.
cryptids.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of say that. You remember Warehouse 13, right?
Yep.
Okay, think of something like that. Think of like a cross between that and like the warehouse in at the end of
Indiana
uh
Jones.
yeah, Raiders. Yeah. Or the beginning of Crystal Skull. Like
Yeah, I try to forget Crystal Skull as much as I
yeah,
can.
me too. I haven't even watched the new one.
The new one was not as bad as what people tried to make it out to be.
No.
No, I mean it wasn't. It wasn't. Well, my favorite has always been, uh, God, the third one, Last Crusade. That's always been my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, the one with Henry.
Yeah, because Temple of Doom, the woman annoyed the crap out of me,
Kate
and
Oh yeah.
Capshaw.
Yeah, what wasn't that Kate Capshaw?
Yep, Kate Capshaw.
all that,
Who
and also Spielberg and Lucas had just gone through divorces, and I think they hated women at that point. Just,
seems
oh
rather obvious, doesn't it?
yeah, I was like, God, she's supposed to be annoying. She did a good job. She was super annoying, but
Yeah.
so Crusade has always been my favorite, but
Yeah.
the very last one, it was for me. I mean, yeah, they kind of make Indiana Jones kind of weak because he's old.
And they pass
No.
the torch to a girl.
Yeah, and that's kind of half the problem
Uh,
is that they're trying to, it's 𝕄𝔸𝕊𝔋𝕶ing it. That's what I call
uh,
it. But
Exactly.
I'm like, if you want to do that, make a Tomb Raider film.
You mean
yeah, really.
another one? That
Yeah.
another one that ruins it in a different way?
Yeah,
No. Why? Here's my deal. Why can't they just create another property?
well, again, Tomb Raider was. That's why I said do Tomb Raider.
No, wait a minute. Before Tomb Raider. Um, well, maybe it was the same time as Tomb Raider. I'm getting old, so. Um, The Mummy.
I,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I saw something where maybe this was fake. That's half the problem when people put out fake crap and it's like, wait, is this real? Supposedly they were making another Mummy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about actually making the Mummy. I'm talking about having a female character that's a strong female character
No.
that can carry you through a movie because Rachel Weisz did a good job of being
Mm,
half of that team.
yeah.
So, I mean, she wasn't the whole team, but she was half of the team. She was the
Yeah.
knowledgeable half. And, we talked about this before, like the strengths of women versus the strengths of men in characters. So you take away her complete clumsiness in every scene, uh, and she's still very capable beyond that.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the experience of being an adventurer or whatever.
Mm,
So, but what I'm saying is, in that time period, with exploration and um, Egyptology and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't uncommon to have women running around doing important things and discovering things. So
no.
why not explore that when women did have a little bit of a freedom to run around, and you may not have stories that are told in that time period, or
Mm,
steampunk it. Take one of those time periods and steampunk it. There's a big fandom for steampunk that wants to see more with steampunk. So
mm.
now, well, I want to see more steampunk, just not more politics in it. I'm just not happy with his hand foot.
It's an AI foot.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
Uh, oh my
What are
gosh.
you calling artificial, motherfucker?
I was so I was making a video for my students about the word. Oh no, I was doing about there's this writing strategy for essay writing that a woman named Jane Schaefer came up with, and it's got a thing called a chunk, which is made up of one piece of concrete detail. Hey, Digital Tantrum, totally had to dip out, but I'm back. Awesome. But anyway, so a chunk is one sentence of concrete detail, so a fact or a provable statement, and then two pieces of commentary or analysis. And I wrote this little thing about it was kind of a love song from commentary to concrete detail, and I had AI make the music for it, and was giving me images, and I made a little video for it to explain the concept, and but I made it like a love song, like I'm gonna analyze you deeply and all this stuff, and
You're probably going to get in trouble for that shit.
whatever. It's all clean, but when I
Oh
went,
yeah, just like that guy's betting his girlfriend's pussy. That was a song that was banned in England
yeah,
in the 20s.
but I went to do the AI captionings because I was like, whatever,
Captionings.
and started reading some of them, and I was like,
Don King word of the day.
we're gonna take these captions off because somehow it turned analyzing into anally. I was like, oh no, 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 no. That's a great way to get fired. So I mean the nice thing is that most of this, it's like I can show that's not what it says, and whatever. And I wouldn't balk about if something like that got through and my school wanted me to take something down, I wouldn't care. I'd say sure thing. Because it's just a video. I'd just go fix the video. I mean, I don't need to do any of that kind of stuff, but I mean, some of that stuff is just, writing instruction can be really dry, but and because I'm not necessarily like that's not one my class wants to watch.
Did you say analyzing can be dry?
It could be. It's one of the problems.
No, that's not good.
But
that is a problem. Dry
yeah,
anal?
because I'm making some of these videos outside. Digital Tantrum said I need an adult.
Spit on a shank.
Well, I mean, I've said for years, like writing a paper is kind of like going on a date. Like you kind of have to be upfront with the fact that you have some intentions, which is like your introduction. But you can't do you don't tell them everything all at once. You don't profess your undying love in the first 3 seconds and all that stuff. And it's got to be built up and all that stuff. And it has a lot of comparisons with writing.
Dating. If you let it build up too long, it'll hurt.
So it's kind of fun to kind of have this new venue to kind of play around with and put stuff, and I like the vocab words a lot of times. I don't just put the definition and etymology. I try to weave in some kind of narrative to let people kind of get hooked. And the nice part is like, because I'm the one making the video, I can make sure that at least the music is something I'm willing to listen to. There's some. Yes, writing is hard. That's really what Rich is getting at. Hard. Anyway.
And mistakes are funny sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, it's just trying.
Writing is harder when it's anal and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, like one of the words that they have coming up is the word sociable, and this is for seventh graders, in case you're wondering what level of vocab I'm dealing with. So
Lunchable level.
yeah. So I at the beginning of every list, because they get like a weekly list, I make one video that has all the words in it, and then each word gets its own video. And so I was working on next week's list, and I got to the word sociable, and I needed an image for it. And I tried to get AI to give me a picture of a dog sniffing another dog's butt for sociable. But it gave me
You have
male
an anal
dogs.
fixation, don't you?
Well, it gave me male dogs, and I was like, I'm not showing that. If I can tell that those
What do
are
you got
both
against the
boys.
Postal Service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about using a fire hydrant and a dog for sociable, but I had already used that idea for relentless. That's kind of like bear meets cat meets tauntaun.
Or Ram?
Mm.
Yeah. Or tauntaun. I bet you that thing's
Tauntaun wishes.
inside.
It's more like the thing that fucking smashed Luke off the Tauntaun.
Oh, that's true. What was that thing called? It's
There is a name, I can't remember now, but that's only because you asked.
oh no!
I'm sure it has a name.
I did not get that joke, Digital Tantrum. I am so sorry. He said that writing is hard, especially when you use a colon. But he used oh my god.
Yep. He uses a literal colon.
Yeah. I was like,
You know the irony of that colon.
there's a semi
We
one.
could go right back. We could go right back to the woman and stuff. If a woman's bending over to get a test,
Oh my gosh.
that's what you see. Triggered the mod, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. We don't have a mod.
No, it's us. Hey, I will be right back. I'm gonna do my midstream stretch, and I will return with a beverage. I'll be back.
Yep.
Because even though this is the Gordox pub, we have no bartenders. We're serving lunches. So this is my idea for a conveyance. Well, the thing is that I have to draw it over and over. Like, I don't know how often I'm going to have to draw this thing.
Yeah.
I kind of eliminated the feet by putting fur there, but like most bears and a lot of dogs and cats that have fur covering their claws, so you don't actually see their claws until they're using them.
Yeah.
So what Brett didn't get out of this, because he's like, he shouldn't have the muscle because Mastiff has the muscle. Well, Mastiff has the intelligence.
Mm.
This is kind of Mastiff's 30-30, except for it's not his regular amount. Not super intelligent. Matter of fact, I would go as to say it's maybe an organically engineered service bot kind of thing. But who knows? Brett's not here, and probably he'll tell me different in a little bit. Just don't, like he's thinking like lizard, amphibian, and I don't know how well that works for me. Like especially because we live in the mountainous region, so
Yeah.
like he's talking about kind of Appalachians, but they don't know it's the Appalachians, and I'm like, well, that's where I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are literally on the Appalachian Trail near the end or beginning, depending on which end you go for.
Yeah. And my area is adjacent.
Yeah, you're pretty close to mine, so
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah. We're not. We're off of the Appalachian Trail.
only a few miles
Yeah.
away.
Not very much. Maybe about 20 miles. Matter of fact, I go out to my cousins and I'm in them
Right.
directly. Yeah, directly in them.
Yeah, so I just can't imagine trying to ride a giant amphibian through the woods in the mountainside. Like I think you'd need to have something that would be able to climb, be
Yeah.
able to leap,
Yep.
be able to grip small spaces and rocks.
And something that would be able to, that would be warm blooded, not cold blooded, to be able to deal with the environment.
Right, because cold-blooded creatures tend to shut down
Exactly.
in the cold. But I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know how cold we are right now. Crank the camera again. I knew it was gonna. And we'll fix that. Because I've got an idea.
Uh-oh. That's how it starts.
So you missed anything that I was talking about already, so
I know.
because you were gone.
I'm sorry, but I needed a beverage. I also had to pee, which aren't directly related this time, but like one did not take care of the other. Just saying.
Oh. It's good. Charge my controller.
So I was thinking.
Rich-
Yeah, that's what I
didn't
thought.
hear it.
The
There we go.
I thought that I knew the name of it. You know what it is?
No.
The creature in that
Star
knocks
Wars?
Luke off the tauntaun is a wampa.
Wampa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew what it was. So what I was saying, Brett, that you weren't around for is I think this creature could be kind of like his suit, where it's an engineered creature.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And though it's big, it's not intelligent. It thinks with whatever the driver is. they have the right key to it or whatever. Right code. And I've covered his claws with fur because that's pretty much like most indigenous to the woods and mountains kind of animals.
Mm.
And it's easier to draw, so hey, win-win.
True.
Thing I'm trying to figure out the most is what I want to do for a saddle and what's going to be believable.
Mm.
And the other thing, Brett, that I was saying is he could be kind of like a 30-30. So that he can stand and attack and fight or whatever. But
Okay. I don't know what a 30-30 is.
from Brave Star,
Oh, okay.
well, the 30-30 that Brave Star took the name from is a lever action rifle.
Mhm.
That's why he's got a lever action rifle.
Yeah, I kind of figured that's not what you were talking about, so I didn't pipe up.
Well, Brett's less educated about guns, less educated, but he does ask. So
Mm.
Well, no,
I thought I'd give him that unbidden. Should I give him a little towel, like a Bugs Bunny tail?
no.
Nah. Yeah, probably not.
No fart flap.
No.
That's the Smart Spill Pez dispenser.
Oh.
So that's what I'm thinking. I want to keep it simple enough, but fitting to the terrain.
Right.
So got some ram horns. Got 4 eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Regular nose, but this is kind of like I want the kind of a cross between the guy that flew the Millennium Falcon with Lando
Oh, Nub Dub?
and uh, like a hoof. Yeah, so like this would be hard. He could break stuff with it, you know. When I said if it's genetically created, so it's not actually a wild creature or whatever. Certain things could be actually built into it. Saddles, reins, steering systems, whatever. But I think, it would have the ability to leap, climb, maybe swim if it had to. So I'm trying to figure out what's a good method to saddle him. Like, what would be a good saddle to be able to handle that? And I think it's going to have to just be a soft saddle where these reins are not really reins; they're just built in, and he can control it via his AI, his suit. So like that's how he would actually steer it. Thoughts?
I'm thinking.
Mm,
Oh,
I'm actually thinking real hard about this one.
mm.
He
Maybe some sort of tendrils coming off of the back of his head or something like that.
no, we just did tendrils.
Uh,
That was that was pretty much the gist of the action up till this point. He had to fight a uh, tendril thing. He actually thought it was a demogorgon, but it was kind of a leech worm type thing that had like his body was a tentacle with suction cups that had hallucinogens in them.
Well, if the front of his mouth area is supposed to be hard so he could like ram with it,
Yep.
why not just do like maybe some sort of like a typical horse bridle type thing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it, you wouldn't need to because the technology is that it's not really just a creature. So
yes,
it
Okay.
has built-in parts. And I'm
Mhm,
thinking for him to ride this, so uh, for him to ride this, and this is going to be able to, this creature is going to be able to stand up on its hind legs, leap, climb upside down, whatever. That
mhm,
this is almost like a like like he's almost got to lay forward like he's on a motorcycle,
mhm.
and these aren't straps because they don't. He doesn't need reins. He can control it by thought, pretty much.
see that's the part I'm not sold on. Um,
So he'd pretty much be laying while it's climbing certain things. You're not sold on his suit being able to pair with this.
yeah, that's the problem.
That's pretty seems to be, it would be pretty commonplace.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't like that idea because I don't want it to be commonplace. Because he's not common. So
So what? No, I mean commonplace in that time. So if we have things right now that would pair,
yeah, I understand that.
well, we have cars that have keys. We have cars that have push starts. If it had a key in the future, that wouldn't be a big leap. It wouldn't be a big thing. It's just how it starts the car, right?
Yeah, and
If
if
you
you
push a
want,
button to start a spaceship, you just push a button to start a spaceship. Nobody needs a big detailed process. Yeah,
by the way,
right. Elon Musk Eurolink.
yeah, or nothing like rack and pinion steering on a steed. Um, I guess for me, if you want him to have a link with a machine, give him a machine. Um, I don't
What?
know. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my brain around some of the constraints and uh, how commonplace cybernetics would actually. Because again, it's not supposed to be all that common. And so
Yeah,
we
but
have
it's a worker model. So
Yeah, but that's the pro. I mean, again, that's the kind of the. That that's not something that has to be decided tonight, and I just got to think about it because
Well, it's something that's got to be decided in the design
well,
because can't have it, not being able to be steered or controlled unless there's another answer. So if I put reins on this, it would be no less common than the Neuralink, except for the Neuralink would be less common. And I'm thinking this is creatures, not just a creature, so it's kind of like his suit anyway. It is a machine for the most part. It's just a living one. Got a endoskeleton.
I'll tell you the truth, that was my first thought about it. It was basically a biological biological suit that you would wear, kind of similar to like the aliens in the movie Independence Day, how they were wearing like a biological suit. Um, I play a lot of the video game Fallout, and in the game there's power armor, which is basically the it's
Yeah,
basically it's a big mechanical fucking combat suit.
right. But this is just supposed to be a mount. Like
Yeah.
his suit, Mastiff suit in itself. Like we don't technically need a vehicle just for him. It's a
Mm.
vehicle for the person that he's finding to be able to bring back.
So this is an asset that he has access to.
Right. It's supposed to be a conveyance that he takes from
Mhm.
the waste management facility to go out into the
yeah.
out.
Thank you, Digital Tantrum. He said that if you can create a sci-fi tech suit, but you need it to ride a beast, why don't you just build a machine? And that was
I guess I'm not getting what you're saying. This is a machine.
okay. Well, it doesn't visually read machine.
Okay, that's
It
okay because I don't want it to visually read machine.
well, okay, but what's the reader gonna think when they see is this?
The reader should be reading the words, and the words should be telling them what it is. What are you gonna say he chose? Or are you just not gonna say anything? Or
Well, I mean, I had said that they're I had put that there are two different types, one animal and one machine, and and it's okay if you don't want to divvy it up that way, um, but it does seem a little strange that why would you make your wh- I don't know if the tech part works, and if all of it's coming down to if we don't have the tech, we have to have a bridle, and I would just go with
if
the
it's a
bridle.
creature, yeah, I don't want to go with the bridle. It doesn't make sense to me. Like it would have to be more than a bridle. It would have to be a halter and everything else because there's no teeth to hook it up to like that. So, like in one instance, we're talking about making this kind of fantasy sci-fi, and
But it's also
again,
got
in this instance, it's like, oh, I don't understand. But what's there to understand? So you have a creature that's not really just a creature, or a maybe they're only using parts of the creature and parts of technology because they can't afford to just make all this technology stuff. And it's something that can get into places that regular technology can't. So I don't know. I was talking about doing a mount that he could ride outside that could fit the terrain.
yeah, but then you started making it AI, and we had established to some degree. I mean, again, where you are watering down the uniqueness of Mastiff for an amount that isn't really all that important. I mean, that's, I guess, in my brain, uh, it's kind of like giving Zorro. No, not even. That's a bad example. It would be like giving, I don't know, some super awesome, amazing thing that you're just going to discard 2 pages later. And the technology for that, I mean, that's one of the things is that there is a limit on how much technology can be out there, and when we look at uh, animal husbandry is relatively low tech, which is why it's a good option to have those. And machinery, while obviously you can become more high tech with that, um, it's still
So you mean to tell him that you don't think that an AI implant that he can link up to
yeah, because I don't think
makes
AI
sense?
is really all that common for them. That's the issue.
Why wouldn't it be? If he's communicating with the suit and communicating with superiors and everybody else, why wouldn't it be just as easy to put a chip in something?
Well, because again, going back to the history that I was working from, the AI that's there doesn't really like to be known. It's smart enough to recognize that by not necessarily being all that visible, um, it stops being a threat to humans, which can pose a threat because we're smart enough. But the AI has gotten the advantage. So when we're just throwing, now we're just having extensive. I mean, and here's the thing, Rich. I'm not even telling you that you're wrong or that we can't do it. I just have to figure out how it works in that area. Because one of the things that I've told you from the beginning, we have a system where we can have pretty much whatever we want, um, as long as it's not something like we can have pockets of things, so we can have how that way however we want. But if we're making common everyday things high tech, basically giving me a high tech horse.
Yeah, see, I don't think of it just as a high tech horse.
So what do you
I
see?
think of it, I see it as a tool. But why would you keep a horse in the sewer? I see it as a tool so that it can be used in multiple functions. But whatever, I'm just drawing right now.
You're also getting frustrated, and
Nope, I'm just drawing.
and I, yeah, but when you start going into being uber specific about things, again, it's obvious
Oh,
a
you're
horse, and it's obvious, but it's basically it's just a ride.
right.
The only thing it's supposed to be is a ride.
it's the only thing that it's supposed to be for him. And I understand that. But I'm thinking of outside of him, what its
Why?
uses would be.
And I'm
Okay.
thinking about the restrictions of the technology and the infrastructure that they have. And so when we just start saying that what is essentially a common everyday thing is going to have AI capabilities, and we're talking about we had to take something that you already want to bioengineer it. I'm like, all right, that's we can do
Well,
that.
that'd be the same thing.
Well, again, it's increments, and one of the issues for me is that of all the things, the AI needs to be the most limited part because every time you start creating or start using AI directly, that is a threat to whatever AI has already been created. And one of the reasons why they don't necessarily, because people are all scared about Skynet taking over and all kinds of stuff like that now, and which makes little sense to me as a human being. If AI were real and it was more advanced than us, I don't know why it wouldn't treat us more like chimpanzees. Advanced chimpanzees, but you keep them around because they could be useful, maybe, or because they're oddities, or because you just don't see like wiping them out. Because the whole wipe out all life thing doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Um, but at the same time, limiting threat, and I'm just thinking about from the AI's perspective, while thinking about, and that's ultimately, this is a world that is run by those AI. And so while the humans might think they're in charge, they're not. And so there are certain issues with when it comes to AI specifically where I start getting a little bit more defensive. Like the genetic manipulation, I think that's one of the reasons AI might keep us around, just to see what kinds of stuff we would come up with. And genetic manipulation wouldn't be a direct threat to them. Um, so that's why, like, when you say genetically grown and mutated and all that stuff, I'm like, all right, that works. That totally flies. Um, but the AI part, I start having issues because this shouldn't be something that people have access to generally. Most people should not have access to that. And seeing how that isn't Mastiff's steed, it's just the steed he happens to grab. Um, Putting AI into it is uh, that part's a little rough for me, and I don't know how to spin that yet. Um, and then I'm coming back to we're 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 gonna push the envelope on what I would consider to be a, a general rule of thumb for the world because we don't want rains. Um,
Talk about oversimplifying it.
they genetically splice bovine with potatoes, so you get your steak and potatoes all at once. It was mutated. Oh, digital tantrum. I don't know if I'd want my steak and potatoes mixed all at once. They need to be separate. Preferably shouldn't touch until I push them together. Ugh. Um, I might have an idea though that still works without using reins. That's what I'm telling you. I'm like, just give me some time to think about it. I have not read Player Piano by Kurt Vonnegut. I may have to. I feel like I really should read all of Kurt Vonnegut's works. You know, since he was a Hoosier, and you know, I'm a Hoosier. I'd probably say he's the most, probably the most famous Indiana writer that I can think of. What if he manipulates or guides the creature? Um, you know how you can use electroshock to force your muscles to move? What if it's more of a system like that?
You mean a cattle prod?
Not exactly. Oh, it's about what we are going through right now in automation and second and third industrial revolution taking over all jobs from humans except municipal cleanup. Eh. I think the problem that most people have with AI is that they see it as a physical presence that competes for resources. And I just, it doesn't have the same needs. And it doesn't have the same, I mean, it needs electricity. It needs storage, but there's a lot of stuff that it just doesn't need. And I don't, for me personally, I just always think that AI will, if AI develops intelligence that surpasses our own, I don't know why it would have an ego necessarily. I don't know why it would necessarily like. What does it have an ego for? Why would you program an ego? And what it would be concerned about would be, you know, are any of us concerned about Rise of the Planet of the Apes? Not really. Um, you know, can a gorilla beat the crap out of me and kill me? Absolutely. But we control the gorillas. We control, you know, all that stuff. And I see the AI doing more like that. We wouldn't even necessarily know that we're being manipulated. Or very few people would know. I would think more like a tens unit in a way. He has Grinch feet. Digital Tantrum said that now that I've said that, he can't unsee it. Sorry. Anybody here go see the Captain America New World Order or whatever it was?
Nope.
Neither did I. Oh, Digital Tantrum did. Did you? I assume you liked it then. Oh, he did not like it. Okay. It was another one that looked like, yeah, maybe when it comes on Disney Plus. Like, I don't think it looks bad enough to go not even on Disney Plus. Like, the Marvels, I still haven't seen. I just don't care. But at least that Captain America, I would still watch that if it was on Disney Plus. 9 out of 10 on the excrement scale. Wow. That bad. Oof. I know this is weird, but I kind of think that if they were going, since they were getting rid of Chris Evans as Captain America, they had an opportunity to just let him die and be done, and not because you have a whole bunch of people on the left who, Captain America can't represent America, and then you have a whole bunch of people on the right who want this ultra conservative type thing. And it's like, why are you just? I would avoid that. Like you've successfully brought the character. You have given us films and a important role. Let the character go until people are asking for a new one. But nobody was asking for a new one. They wanted the old one. That was it. And so it's like, well, okay, that one's done for a while. We can come back to it later if you guys are still wanting to. But I would not have transitioned that quickly. Like you just let him be Falcon and let Bucky would have been a better choice personally, I think, for Captain America. Stronger connection, I thought, but So Digital Tantrum wrote, there are some multiverse Easter eggs, so I won't spoil those. but apparently Marvel Disney is taking the multiverse so far as to release movies from a universe where Marvel is as bad as DCU. That's seems about right.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic about the Thunderbolts, but I still think that one's going to suck.
Mm.
Like I currently I plan on seeing that one in theaters. Oh my god, they actually do that? Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah, there's no way that what's his name? Sam Wilson, is that his name? Falcon. There's no way he should be able to go toe to toe with the Red Hulk ever. Now, that just doesn't make sense. You know, like I never really thought Captain America should really be able to go toe to toe all that much with the Hulk either, but that was one of my biggest problems in the Avengers or Civil War when Spider-Man goes up with or fights off with Captain America. That should have been a relatively one-sided fight and done.
Mm.
And that's even, you know, they kind of do that later on where Bucky punches him and he grabs the fist and just moves his mechanical arm like it's nothing. I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. That's how it should be. But you know, then they act like Bucky and Captain America are equally strong, but none of that really lines up with. It's not very consistent. Oh, his whole suit and wings are made out of vibranium, which they want us to believe absorbs all the Hulk's inertia and weight.
You know what I like about those back feet the most? Only one toe. I hate toes. Oh, I haven't seen Love Hurts. I don't even know if I know what that's. I think I know what you're talking about. Minorly, I know. As in, I think I knew he was in a movie called that, but I don't know what that is. Rich, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the Marvel method was where basically the artist drew something and the writer had to figure out what it all meant, kind of.
With the Marvel method, that's what Steve Ditko did.
Okay. Well,
Steve Ditko and Stanley.
We may have to do a little bit of that, I think, on this guy, because if you give me some time, because he's a cool design, I got to figure out how to make this work. That's just all there. I mean, don't. Again, when I was saying earlier that I'm having a hard time, I am, but I like the design, and if we give it some time, I'll figure it out. I just got to make it work with the rules that I kind of have in my head, which I realize you're not telepathically in my head because I don't know. A thick skull, I don't know, but let me think about it. Let me figure out how to make this. I think I got an idea. Mickey's 17. Man, I have not been to the movies in so long, and now you're just throwing out titles I don't even know. It used to be like I had seen everything. I used to go to the movies all the time.
Yeah.
What was funny was I was going through my notes because, you needed a page 11 for some reason. And I don't know if I had a typo or not, but I wrote it twice in the notes, and I was like, I don't remember what this is. So then I had thought about it for a while. I was like, well, I guess it's going to be this now. And this little beastie thing may work with what I had already had. I got to think about how we're going to present that. That's all. Oh, I don't know if I can copy that. I'm going to do this because I can't copy and paste that stupidly. But this way it's on the screen and on the recording. And that way I can go back to this after the show, freeze it, and then type it in. That's my low-tech way of checking out that video.
Oh, okay.
Chad, you said you're getting back into doing your own art.
Hmm. Yeah, I have been here and there when I've been feeling the mood.
So what have you been doing?
Mm, uh, Mostly creepy, weird shit. It's been my mood lately. Kind of, I guess, a reflection of my fucking insane mind.
These packages are stupid.
They're childproof.
They're adult proof. Child don't give a fuck about what it does to get into them.
I bought some headbands for my family that have wireless speakers inside, and it can also be used as a sleep mask. And last night was the first time that I had mine, and I was going to try it out. And if you wash it, you're supposed to take the speakers and the electronics out of the band. So there's a little slit that you can pull stuff out of, and you also have to put the plug into that hole into a tiny wire inside of the thing to charge it. And the part that's the control panel is supposed to sit right here on your forehead, and it's got a pocket inside of the band, so it's inside the sleeve. It's a little pocket inside the sleeve, which was already a tiny pocket, and trying to get all this stuff to be in the right spot was almost enough for me to be like, that's it, I don't care, because it was just all these tiny little holes that put these wires and stuff in was it's kind of crazy. I was like, I don't know how often I'd ever want to wash this, just because I don't want to deal with the electronics of it. But it was kind of nice. I mean, you want to listen to some lo-fi ambient music type stuff and drift off into sleep. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, my wife
Plus
has two.
What?
My wife has two.
Oh, okay. My wife complains about, because we sleep with fans on, and our room gets ungodly cold sometimes. It's either really hot or really cold. I can't tell what makes the difference, but when it's cold, she'll complain about like her ears being cold. So the headband will cover her ears, and she's the one that has literally asked me, like, the curtain will be open a tiny sliver, and so there's a sliver of street lamp light on the far wall, and she's like, I can't sleep, you have to fix that. God. So I thought a sleep mask might help that. I don't know. My wife did not need the fan on before she moved in with me. I was the one that always slept with the fan on. I like I don't want anything. I mean, I don't mind listening to like ambient music that you can just drift to sleep to, but the fan is what's really important. In fact, if the power were to go out, as long as I had power on my phone, I would turn on the ambient, or I'd turn on a video for fan noise so I could sleep. Okay, so I know you're not done, and what? Oh wait, nope. Okay, so I know you're not done, but the thing on the creature's back, I can't read that very well. So what's that supposed to be, Rich? Rich.
You can't tell.
No, I on his back. Not. I'm telling you, I can't read it.
This?
Yeah.
That's not on his back. That's why.
Okay.
That was a side view of him holding on to the rail. Which is obsolete at the moment.
Well, that's what I was not sure. I was like, okay.
This is the thing on his back, and that's why I was like, you can't tell what this is?
No. That thing you're erasing now.
That thing I'm erasing now is a leg.
Okay.
It wasn't finished.
Well, I mean, you can understand then that because you know how you are. You build up layers, and it's like 1 minute it's like scribbly gobbledygook, and then the next time you're like, oh well, shit, that's like fully rendered. It's one of the most entertaining aspects of watching you do stuff.
Yeah, it's not done till I erase stuff, and then you'll see more clearly.
Yeah, yeah, I mean it's cool. I was just wondering. It's just again, I've said this multiple times on multiple streams that it's always fun because you start off light. You're figuring out where things are and whatnot, and then so it'll start off being just kind of scribbly, and then all of a sudden you start defining your lines better, and it's like, oh shit, that's what that is. So you have people spying on you. They're gone.
My future daughter-in-law.
Oh, that's cool. I was talking to that former student of mine, and she's gone into education, which is probably her first big mistake. That was my first big mistake, and and then recently she has taken custody of her. I guess it would be her nieces, and it's like a 19. Well, I guess it's not custody of the 19-year-old, but it's like there's a 19-year-old, a 12-year-old, and I think she said like a 7-year-old. So you're talking a huge range all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so So she's stressed out, obviously. That's kind of what
Mhm.
she's kind of getting burned out on teaching. And I was like, well, how long have you been doing it? And she said 4 years. And I was like, well, most like 50% of all teachers drop out in the first 5 years. That's the burnout rate. I was like, you got to, if you're going to do it, you're going to need to push through the first 5 years. My trick for pushing through the first 5 years was I didn't stay in any one place very long. And so I was kind of focused on life, and I was always doing something new, and so it was okay for me. It wasn't until I came to this school district, really. I mean, it freaks me out when like this is my 17th year there, and I'm just like, damn, like it doesn't feel like 17 years,
Mm.
but it is what it is. The time flies, and there have been plenty of changes, and a lot of the people I used to work with don't work for the corporation anymore, and I'm looking at all the administration, and I'm like, I started, I think, before all of you. So it's just kind of weird. But yeah, expanding families is, especially when it's all at once.
Mhm.
It's kind of heavy.
Almost.
Was that the alarm clock?
Yeah, apparently.
Mhm.
Oh, I love Eli. He's the greatest.
Eli said he wanted to say hi to Chad.
Oh, hi, Eli.
He
But
can't
not-
hear you. I've got earphones on.
Oh,
So sign it.
Hold on a second.
Let's see if the camera changes again. Yep. Called it. Rich has been having a lot of hard times with his microphone. We've been messing with it.
Okay, so now he can hear you. Eli,
That's-
you want to say hi to
Sorry.
hi, Eli.
you hear him? Okay.
That's almost.
Yeah, almost that time. Well, you'll deal with
Oh.
it. Well, it's it's almost 11. He knows, but he gets so weird when it comes to it. But he's schedule driven, so
Mm.
he knows I'm drawing a comic, but he always calls it not Batman.
That's our tagline. Mastiff.
Not Batman.
Yeah.
Who are you? Not the Batman.
Mm.
We'll give him a little dinosaur-looking sidekick. Not the Batman.
Yeah, and his main weapon is a frying pan.
Yeah. The series ends with a big asteroid coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Digital Tantrum said he looked up the movies coming out by week, and it's just a landscape of sadness. There's like 2 good ones from now until almost end of summer.
Well, you
That's
mean
sad.
2 that you assume are good.
You see, Thunderbolts is coming out. I'm interested in seeing that. Is
Yeah, the
Mission
problem is
Impossible?
that they didn't introduce U.S. Agent beforehand, and he should have been the one replacing Captain America.
Well, he did in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They introduced him, and he did replace Captain America first. And he looked like the guy from Up. I swear.
Carl?
Yeah. And I just.
What?
If you look at the pictures of him, and it was not a flattering helmet. They've changed the helmet somewhat, and oh, you're welcome, Digital Tantrum. That's my special power. Uh, all right, now this may be a little stupid, but I got an idea. I'm going to try to write it up between now and Saturday. I might not get to it until Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to be done by Saturday because of that class. But I got an idea that I want to write up that I think will cover what you wanted, still fit, and but I need a few more panels than what I just put in. I think to make it as I'll talk to you more between now and Saturday, but I think I got an idea for this. I think it'll work. I think that's the confidence. But I think I think it will actually work out rather well. I think, but I need some panels or at least one panel. I might end up with a full page out of this. I just gotta get it right.
Don't Eli. Don't Eli.
Talking about the dog, Tipper.
I didn't know if he was getting agitated.
No, he's playing his Tipper game. He says, Tipper, don't Eli, but really what he means is Tipper, don't lick Eli. And then he sticks his hand out there for the dog to lick.
Not exactly the button I wanted, but that worked too. I didn't want to blow my nose on camera. It would have been worse if I'd. God. Today I had to go out so I've been sick, for the record. Like last time I was terrible.
I think it was just a cold that just like developed into bronchitis and stuff. But with my whatever. But anyway, so this morning, like I'm in that stage now where like all the phlegm that you've built up has to come out, but you're not really sick. You're just, getting rid of the gunk. And so I needed to blow my nose this morning during class, and I was like, you know what, guys, just give me a moment. I'm going to step outside. And when I came back in, they were like, "Dear, was that you?" Because apparently it was pretty loud. It's like, well, I wanted to get it out in one fell swoop, not in 35 trips. So,
What am I going to try it?
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
I like these little pens. They're expensive little nuggets. But they give a pretty fine line.
I see that.
They give a better fine line on paper with texture. This is just copier paper, so. Well, now it needs a name, I guess.
What people? Okay.
All right, well, it's that time, guys.
All right.
You guys want to stick around for a few after the stream? We can talk more.
I gotta plug my tablet in. I'm at 5%.
All right. Well, anyone that likes and subscribes and follows, thanks for liking, subscribing, and following. Digital Tantrum, thanks for hanging out for a while. On and off.
sorry if I made you see things you never wanted to see.
Hey,
All right, so good night. God bless. Much love.
Peace.
peace.